For you guys, if you've got any questions about darts or where you see us going, or even criticisms, I'm big enough to take criticisms as well, although it's difficult to find one. Questions?
Barry, Tungsten Tales. Quick question. How much do you personally love this tournament?
This is I have 541 event days this year. And being as though you know me well enough to know I'm very passionate about the sports I do, and I'm very enthusiastic. Despite my ongoing years, I look forward to this event so much, because it comes as a very good time in my schedule, because I have the UK snooker at York, followed by the Moscone Cup, followed by the Scottish Open, throw in a little Anthony Joshua fight, and all I'm thinking of is countdown to the darts. This is my biggest event of the year. I enjoy all of my sports. I don't involve myself in a sport I don't feel passionate about, but this is something special.
You just spoke about TV broadcasting rights and countries around the world. I've seen a lot of German-speaking fans walking around.
Yeah.
Is that a market you look to go into?
Well, not go into. We went into Germany about 5 or 6 years ago. I remember clearly my first event in Germany, I sold 50 tickets, and another 50 people turned up at the night. And Dave was there, and I'm like, yeah, Dave, this is one of your ideas. And today, between 3,000 and 4,000 venues, because they're smaller events, European tour events at the moment in Germany, for the most part, we sell out in a day, every single event, and we sold 7,500 tickets to German people out of the 66,000. A phenomenal number. Another 4,000 Dutch, but 7,500 Germans shows you where this sport has come. And interestingly enough, this year we renewed our TV contract at 5 times the value of the previous contract.
Yeah. And finally, this year's been an amazing year for darts and boxing. How do you compare the two, and what does the future hold for both?
Well, the future, obviously darts is secure because I'm looking after it, and my son's looking after boxing, so anything could happen. No, the boxing is completely changed from my days. I'm not qualified to say because it's a young person, the demographic has changed, the shows are huge, but boxing's very much a one night. This is a slightly slow burner because you're looking at round after round, shock after shock, upset, or the story of Michael van Gerwen. That's why we're here. Is Michael unbeatable? Well, this week we'll find out.
Yeah, well, thank you very much, Barry.
Thank you.
Barry, some players complain the calendar's too long, the schedule's too many tournaments, what do you say to that?
I've never met a player. I have never met a player who's complained of that. No, I've never met one player. Which player are you talking about?
I can tell you which player who spoke in confidence that it's just too relentless, training.
Well, the only player that would feel like that is one that can't cope with the schedule. And I understand as you get older. I mean, Phil Taylor is an example. We'll be cutting back next year because he's in his middle 50s. And I think, King Canute tried it, didn't he, when he sat on the beach and tried to send the waves back. You can't do that. And there comes a time, and I think, I understand your question better when you take it into a person that has been there. Terry Jenkins, Phil Taylor says, look, these Pro Tours are relentless. Also, by the way, the standard on the Pro Tour is there's no certainties anymore. A few years ago, these top players were always going to be there or thereabouts. Excuse me. Today's market is kids are coming out. I mean, we had 2 9-darters once on a youth tour event. The standard is unbelievably high, and it's tough. But that goes with the increased opportunities for earning money. And unfortunately, you can't hold, well, not unfortunately, fortunately, you can't hold the game back for people that can't take the kitchen when it's hot. And this kitchen is piping hot, so I can understand some people say. I think we've got the same in snooker. Some of the top players yearn for the days when they had a month to get ready for an event. That's yesterday. Today's all about maximising opportunities, creating wealth, and inspiring generations of kids in the future. Excuse me. Yeah, it's interesting. I don't know any promoter would hold back an event, a sport, at the expense of the future for the sport, Oh, thanks, mate. Wayne, I'd be lost with that. Oh, sorry. The invite's still there, Wayne, boy. Yeah, it's just one thing you've got to live with. No. Oh, I do apologise for that. Oh, dear. No, I think we've now got to the stage where our schedule looks right. I think we've got enough events in the UK without overkill. The calendar is full. All we've got to do now is increase the prize money and the levels from that calendar. I don't know where that cough came from, but thank you.
You have standard wages this one, haven't you?
Christmas bonuses have been done, Dave. I can die in peace now. No, I don't think I've ever been so personally, in my 41 years, I don't think I've ever been so personally motivated by the success of a sport. And in particular working with the darts players. They are just, I mean, the secret of darts is, as I keep saying, it's ordinary game played by extraordinary people. And these guys, they just remind everybody of the bloke who lives around the corner. And in today's world of superstars, it's rather refreshing. You know, we don't get someone pranks their Ferrari and jumps out into their spare Ferrari. That doesn't exist in darts. But this money is changing people's lives, and I think it'll change more and more.
How much closer are you to cracking the American market now, Barry, than you were when you went to Las Vegas Desert Classic as it was
Well,
12 years ago?
I've got to tell you, I think the American market is the toughest market in the world to crack on any sport. America is all about jam today and no investment in tomorrow. And that's why they cherry-pick the very big events from Super Bowl, NFL, NBA. They're established and they absorb all the money, and everything else is considered a niche sport. So we're going back to Vegas. We're going to give it another crack. I think mainly because we quite fancy going to Vegas anyway, so we had to find an excuse. And we're fortunate that we're working in Vegas with David Hill, who was Rupert Murdoch's right-hand man on TV. He has his own production company called Hilly Productions now. He's the genius of sports television globally. And he believes that darts has a future. So we're going to go. We're on Fox same night, network, prime time, which is the best we've ever done. And of course live through all our contracts around the world. It's our best chance. Will it be successful? I don't know. But the day we stop trying is the day the sport goes backwards. We will always try to be innovative and creative, and we will be prepared to fail. So far we've been on a great roll, and that role in our existing markets that's going from strength to strength. It is amazing the number of the hundreds and hundreds of hours that broadcasters are taking in darts, even in areas that don't play darts, because it's a spectacle. It's an event. They see it on TV and it's a jaw-dropping event. You see this crowd, translates, no salesman in the world needs to be very good at selling if they can show those type of pictures. Because everyone's like, what on earth is going on here? And once you've got the attention, then you can actually get involved in what is a tremendously difficult game to play at the level these guys are playing at. It'll get to $500,000. No, it's set to $500,000 in 2 years' time. But frankly, when you look at it in comparison to other sports, we're all governed by perception, aren't we? Wimbledon, right? I mean, great event. Sells loads of tickets. TV rights are huge. Perception is massive. Wimbledon first prize this year, 1.75 million. So, Ryder Cup, US Open golf. We got so far to go in the real world of sport. We think we're doing brilliant. $400,000 next year to the winner. Wow. It should be 7 figures to the winner, in my view. But we have to change the perception as well of broadcasters, and the only way we change that is by competition. So when a contract comes up for renewal, like in Germany, everybody in Germany wants the contract. Obviously, the price goes up. In Holland, we're just about to finalise that deal there, and quite rightly too. We were lucky to stay with our incumbent broadcasters, but there was a huge amount of competition. It's supply and demand, whether it's ticket prices or whether it's TV rights. And this does a job for TV stations, especially the World Championships at this time of the year, which is like made for TV. Very little else on. People are sitting at home, too much in their stomach, sit there and watch darts for 3 hours. I mean, and the format's good, the players are so quick, it's very entertaining.
Going into the right and the wrongs of what do you think we've seen the last of Eric Bristow in darts?
I think Eric probably would like to have his time again with some comments that he made. People make mistakes. I hope it's not the last we see of him. I hope people can understand that sometimes things are said wrongly, through wrong attitudes that have perhaps been historic. And we all have to live in a changing world. Speaking of someone older, life has changed completely. Attitudes have changed, and we have to move with those changes. And Eric, by his comments, hadn't moved enough, and hopefully people will forgive and understand, and hopefully he will learn as well. And in the end of the day, we don't want to see anyone suffer from it. You know, it was more than unfortunate. It was silly comments, and he has paid a big price for it. But I always believe you should forgive and forget in time once you've paid a penalty, and he's clearly paid that penalty.
I asked the question because your previous incarnations of boxing from Roosevelt Nelson, mid late 80s, early 90s, there was some fairly unpleasant trash talk, shall we say, sometimes before big fights. Probably still is now, but
definitely
we forgave boxers for that.
Yeah.
Sort of leaving something in a wooden box, didn't we?
Yeah, but I think the world is changing. I mean, I think it's still a problem in boxing, to be honest with you. You know, we all like to hyper fight, but there's levels. I mean, and Eric would have comments about things. Again, there are levels. There's a line in the sand these days, which is not vague. People know it, and it's a line you mustn't cross. And if you do, you have to be prepared for the consequences. And you know, ignorance is something that, as I say, look, years ago we used to watch television shows that can't even be shown on repeat now. The world moves on, and we must move with it. No, I'd like, as I say, we're considering moving to the Great Hall. I love this venue. It's the People's Palace. It's an iconic building in London. It's got everything I need. We will have a look at the opportunity. The big thing for me is I don't want to let people down. You know, people that want to come to an event, it's very frustrating for me not to be able to fit them all in. You know, it's all right, Joshua Klitschko, I've got 90,000 people, but you know, I will have a lot of people moaning by the middle of next week that they can't get a ticket for Joshua Klitschko because of demand. So we're judged on our ability to supply what the public needs. You know, at the same time, obviously we want to put on a good product so that those sitting at home are enjoying that product via TV. It's a bit of a balancing act, but I think the big thing is never, you know, you don't like to leave any seat unoccupied. There's no point in going too big because you lose the atmosphere. So you've got to do it at stages, and we will look at new venues within this building with different structures on how many tickets are sold, so we preserve the atmosphere, because that's what makes this place so special.
I mean, can the main hall hold here as opposed to
I think maximum probably 6,000, which is double what we've got at the moment. And I think initially we'll probably look at 4.5 and suck it and see. But the day we don't supply the demanded number of tickets, and every big event, you know, you try getting onto Wimbledon, you try getting into a test match on, you know, the Saturday or whatever, or 2020 finals. That's how you judge the success or otherwise of a major sporting event, really, is the crowd size and have you sold out. And you want to sell out as late after you've satisfied as much demand as possible, not just make the tickets a collector's piece, because that's too dangerous. We are a working man's golf. You know, we are a working man's sport, and I say working man because all of us are working class. And those people want to see value for money, hence the price freeze, and they want to know accessibility. They want to know that they can go in and actually buy one, not just advertise a ticket and not have it available.
We're celebrating 10 years almost of that great final.
Yeah, well, I think we're going to. We've had 10 fabulous years at Alexandra Palace, and in the same way as I've had 40 fabulous years at the Crucible in Sheffield, I hope we're going to be saying well, maybe not me, I might be slightly gone by then, but in 30 years' time, it would be nice to say we're coming up for 40 years here. This is the home of this event, and I can't think of a venue that fits it more appropriately. All right, guys, enjoy the rest. Thanks for your time, and Dave will give you those prize money things. And I would advise you all to give up journalism. I've read some of the stuff you wrote, and possibly concentrate on darts as a secondary income. You know, it's every chance.